I don't like being with a person that I feel like is not going to challenge me. You're not going to challenge my beliefs. I hate yes people around me.
God is not a man. God is probably more a woman than any male figure. All creativity is divine feminine. But a lot of people like simple. I'm not simple.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Soft Rose Hard Life. I'm your host, Sabrina Larice, and today I'm here with Slouch.
How are we doing? Nice to see you again.
Great to see you. Amazing to see you. I haven't seen you in years.
It has to be over 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
We're going to get into some things today. Slouch, you're so full of wisdom. Tell the girls what you do.
I do a bunch of different stuff. My main passions are teaching people about hidden meanings within spirituality, symbolism. I'm an artist, so I create my own music. I host my own events. I do one-on-one spiritual talks with people online, as well as I have a course where I teach people how to breathe correctly, teaching people about the lymphatic system, the mind, the things that human beings are able to do that a lot of people don't know about. I'm all over the place, but it's basically art and spirituality is what I do mostly. I'm a creator.
Let's get into our soft heart segment. Were you raised out of love or survival?
Was I raised out of love or survival? Oh, I like that question. I've never been asked that before.
Exactly.
There we go.
Let's get the small talk.
For sure. Both. 100% both. My mom has been my rock since the very beginning. She's the reason why I am outspoken as I am. I learned that from her.
I love that.
Me being politically aware also comes from my mom. Me having a spiritual presence also comes from my mother. She's the one that put me in Catholic high school, elementary school, reason I'm baptized, confirmation, communion. She led the way for all of that. Always preaching positivity as well to me as a kid. So I got motivated by that and it inspired me to do the same. But, survival as well. There were certain moments in time where, my dad passed away when I was 9. So without that source of income, we almost lost the house a couple of times. My family, we all have had our hardships. The main figures on both my mom's side and my dad's side died very early. So it caused a lot of tension between the family. When the people who are the glue of the family, when they pass on it and you leave it up to the people that aren't used to putting events together or like to stay isolated, the family unit kind of withers away after time.
Yeah.
So that was happening as well.
Because you need that matriarch of the family to really keep it together. Do you feel like your mom played that role at that time?
She played it to the best of her ability, and she was really good at it. I don't think anybody could be perfect, even if there is a father in the household. There's never going to be perfection in the sense of everything is easy.
Of course.
Because I look at perfection as good and bad, because you need both in order for life to exist. But of course, right, my mom has to work more jobs now because the money's tight. So I'm alone a lot of the time in the house.
I see.
Or I'm outside. So I was outside really early, just doing whatever. That's why I never paid attention in school, because I always had the ability to do whatever I wanted. And especially if I had my father around, half of that shit would have never happened. 100%.
I completely understand that, because I don't think you know this about me, but I grew up with addiction in my household. So with my dad trying to compensate for the addiction, not from him, from the other person that raised me or helped raise me, it was more so I had free will and I was never in the house. I was talking to a lot of guys and I was doing whatever. But I still was paying attention in school because I just felt like I need this education.
Yeah.
But I can see where it led you. Do you feel like, I noticed that you have more so of healthy masculinity, which a lot of men, especially, I hate to say this, but especially white men, they don't have. Where do you feel like you gained that knowledge to work through and balance your masculinity and your femininity at the same time?
When you grow up in a spiritual household, the number one thing that's taught is reflection. And what a lot of people don't do is reflect on their own decisions and surrender to the person that they are. It's somebody will choose to be a certain way and they'll have all the guilt and they'll know that they're not doing the right thing for themselves. But instead of submitting and fully acknowledging who they are, they'll distract themselves with their vices or the way that they treat other people, or they'll they'll project outwardly instead of really channeling internally who they are.
You grew up with love and a little bit of survival mode. Do you feel like that affected how you act and interact with romantic partners now?
Yeah. My situation is very interesting because in every relationship that I've had, it's always been a case where I'm a very interesting person. Like my opinion, I'm very open about my opinions, and my opinions are very out there.
Right.
And I'm not just a person that has very out of the box opinions. I also make that my personality almost. Like it's almost like something that I want people to know my opinion because I believe I give knowledge and substance and can help change people's perspectives for the better. But a lot of people like simple. I'm not simple, so I know that about myself.
Which is crazy because I feel like I'm more into complexity. I don't like being with a person that I feel like is not going to challenge me. You're not going to challenge my beliefs. I hate yes people around me. So the fact that you're saying, you want to feel heard and you're going to say your opinion regardless. Yeah. I think some women can't handle that.
No,
only because they love being the smartest in the room a lot of the times,
That it's also threatening to be around somebody who just knows about so much more. And especially if it's somebody like my personality is, I'll bring it to your attention. It's not something that you don't have to just ask me something. Like I'll probably just mention something to you about something just off of me wanting to tell you rather than waiting for you to ask me a question on it. I'll be the one to just say some random tidbit about this or state my opinion on that.
Of course.
So, but what I do know about relationships and my experience with them and channeling like my masculinity is that like I still have to be the man. Like I'm not going to sit back, look at all these relationships that I've had and the reasons why they don't work and sit there and be like, all right, well then like blame F her. Women or like, oh, I'm just not meant for love and like start getting all victim mentality, which is, I think media has a problem with promoting that. I think movies do. I think rap music to a certain degree.
For sure.
Even pop music. It's just as soon as there's like, the music now is like, oh, we didn't work. Well, okay, I gotta be me now and I can't mess with anybody and, it's
That's
F this, it's F that.
About. It's always a toxic masculinity is flooding media right now. What's your opinion on rap music as a whole, and do you consider the genre of music you make rap music?
So I make rap music, but I don't really stick myself to a specific genre. Whatever I'm feeling in that moment, because I listen to so many different sounds. But of course, predominantly, I started off with the rap. Music as a whole, for the last 60 years, has been programmed and manipulated to change consciousness to fit a capitalistic, consumeristic agenda. So like music has the ability to manipulate the mind. Insane. Because everything is sound, frequency, and vibration, and we're electromagnetic beings. We run off of sound, vibration, and frequency. That's how we attach to things. And Jimi Hendrix, even ancient tribes, like they would use music to heal the body, to calm people down, or they use it in prayer. Like in Catholic churches, they have the big choirs with the big churches and the big organs. Right. So now what's happening is when you can hear it in the rap music, everything is statements now. It's not storytelling. It's not introspective thought. It's more or less, I'm doing this. I got money. You don't. There's no fluidity. It's all manifestations. And what people don't realize is that's a spell that they're casting. That's
for sure.
That's why when you put a bunch of letters together to create a word, it's spelling. That's why it is. The English language it comes from magi's. It comes from people who study the laws of the universe, and they knew that word is power. So when you have something manifesting over and over the same message with that repetitive style that rap music is now,
right?
When you listen to the beat, there's a frequency that is coming out of the beat that you can't hear, but it's messing up your entire frequency within your body. And it's allowing the message that's being said over the beat to be planted within your subconscious.
Have you ever been in love?
Absolutely. multiple times.
How was that experience for you? Knowing that you're so hyper aware, how was that experience for you?
I look to always appreciate the moment. So I don't, if I feel like I'm in love, I know that for me, it's a chemical reaction because I'm stimulated by something that I'm experiencing. So I accept the feeling. Right. And, I go into everything with an open mind, with a glass half full. Like, I'm never thinking about, oh, what if she does this or she does that, or I end up doing this. It's more or less like everything is happening for a reason. Like, my actions led me to this moment. So I just have to stay true with knowing that I will figure it out.
Does that help you with trust?
Absolutely.
Are you easily trusting?
Yeah.
That's something that a lot of men can't attain to. So,
well, look at what they hear all the time. The movies that they watch. They're watching The Godfather. They're watching Scarface.
They're watching Fuck These Bitches.
And then the rap music. Yeah, it's like you can't trust nothing. Can't trust this.
Right.
So it's like you won't.
But it's also based on childhood trauma as well. Because I know a lot of people. I was talking to someone recently, and he was telling me that he was abused by a stepfather, and his mother chose the stepdad. So at the end of the day, that caused a lot of trust issues with him and his mom to this day. And so, of course, now when he's in relationships, he's treating everyone like his mom.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it stems from there as well, of course, with media too. But
it comes from the household. It always does. Yeah. Everything comes from the household. And that's one thing I try and teach people. Like when I teach my meditation classes, it's like the reason why the cure for all disease and all depression and anxiety is the breath work and is sitting in silence, because when you sit in silence with your eyes closed, you're not distracted by the observable world anymore. You're within yourself. And when you feel all those emotions, like people can't sit in silence with their eyes closed for a long period of time because they start thinking of certain things. They start getting uncomfortable with the darkness. That teaches you to understand, no, like this is your life. Like it doesn't matter what traumas you've been through.
Right. This is your reality.
This is your reality. Like people are going to try and do things to you with you knowing, without you knowing, all the time. And you're going to do something to somebody that they don't know or they do know as well in your own way.
Right.
So instead of letting other people dictate your reality, have the confidence. Remember, that's what I said about people accepting their traumas and accept, like they have to accept, it's like, all right, this is going to sound rude or mean to some people, but it's like, too bad.
You have to do the work. Talk to me a little bit about this breath work.
Mm-hmm.
If I was someone who was just so over here, with all your teachings and breath work, meditation, what would be the intro for me So if you're a beginner, right? Exactly.
So I work with a lot of beginners right now, and the number one thing that I teach them at first is, okay, how long can you keep your eyes closed, breathing the way that you breathe regularly? And so they'll sit there.
2 minutes?
On average?
Yeah.
I've run into people that could only do it for 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Yeah.
Because I also think it's you're so stimulated all the time.
Yeah.
Music, you have to pick up the phone, you're watching TV, phone at the same time, you have 2 videos playing. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So much. So when you're really in silence, of course, and when you're by yourself, it's like, whoa, where's my stimulation?
When I notice with a lot of people in the beginning stages, when I tell them to breathe the way that they naturally do, it's all through the lungs. Now, of course, we learn that when we breathe, it goes into the lungs, but that doesn't mean it's supposed to stay in the lungs. You're supposed to carry the breath all the way to the stomach, the diaphragm. The diaphragm is the support system for the entire body. The diaphragm holds your the major parts of your lymphatic system. Now, what your lymphatic system is, it basically drains your body of disease,
right?
All of that stuff. And the biggest part of the lymphatic system sits right in your diaphragm. So when you push out your stomach to take in air and then suck your stomach in when you're releasing air, you're calming your nervous system down. You're helping your body regulate its temperature. You're giving your body the ability to repair itself because it's not fighting stress chemicals or depression.
Right. So it's healing.
So they're breathing with their lungs first, right? And then when I tell them to breathe with their stomach, it helps calm a lot of people down. But the number one issue is like they can't sit in the darkness. So I would just sit with you.
Are you in a closed room?
Yeah.
Lights off?
No lights off, just eyes closed.
Okay.
And so I would just sit with you and try over and over again until you felt like you didn't want to meditate anymore. Cause it's baby steps, like for beginners, I'll sit there with someone, they'll do it for like an hour. They'll do it for like a minute and a half. And then I'll talk to them about how they felt for a couple minutes. Okay. And then I'll tell them, all right, let's go back in. And then they'll do it for X amount of time. And then the just a rinse and repeat process, just constantly questioning.
Are you guiding them through meditation at all?
It's silent. I'll probably here and there say like, just reminder to loosen your jaw. Cause the point of the meditation, you have to get yourself in a position that's very comfortable.
Right.
You don't want to be sitting in a position just because you want to be straight, but you're feeling like a lot of pain in your back, right? All the muscles have to be loose.
Okay.
So I'll just remind people, like, make sure you just loosen your jaw while you're breathing. Don't force the breath. Let it come to you. If you have to adjust now. Don't sit in the discomfort because it ruins the focus.
Right.
So yeah, a little bit of that here and there. I don't like using sound really.
So the people that you've worked with, what were the results? Did they notice more healing? Did they notice more, I think that could help a lot with anxiety. Have they noticed their anxiety being a little more dismissed and they know how to handle it better? What's that?
So everything is on a spectrum. And the point of the meditation is to get you to remember that you and whatever created us are the same thing. We come directly from one source, consciousness. Everybody is sharing the existence of one thing that created all of us, because we wouldn't exist without a creator. People who get into the meditation, there'll be one person who does it and they'll be frightened. They're met with everything that they've known, all their traumas, the first time that they've really sat down and reflected on their life, right? That'll be a lot of people's breakthrough moment with the meditation. A lot of other people, it will be a huge sense of peace and tranquility. But it really depends on where you're at in that moment. Like for me, when I started my meditations, I had to fight my demons in order to get to the peace first. I had to face my reality, face the person that I was, accept who I was, not play the victim card. And then once I pushed all that out and submitted to those feelings, then I was able to find the bliss, the perspective and the patience. That's the biggest part. So it just depends on where you're at.
Where do you feel like you're at now spiritually due to your breath work and your meditation?
I understand that my reality is completely up to me. I can't feel sorry for myself because we literally make each and every decision.
Right.
I try and trust my gut to the best of my ability. I'm not perfect. I'm a human being. But the true warrior is someone that gets knocked down and then continues to get back up. Those are in the Bible. It says, those are going to be the people that go into heaven first, is the ones that try and fail rather than the ones that already have. They're the first ones to get into heaven.
Interesting.
And I don't mean, for me, I don't believe in like a literal heaven, but I believe like heaven, the mindset, heaven, the reality that we're able to make on this planet.
What's your definition of hell?
Hell is a mindset.
I agree with that.
You're a Brina Roland. And you're only going to be a Brina Roland for as long as your eternity lasts. The reason why you are currently living in an eternal life is because nobody knows when you will pass on. So you are a Brina Roland for eternity up until a point.
Of course. So
you could either choose through your decisions to live in eternal heaven or live in eternal hell. And that's why religion does a really good job of confusing people on what this reality really is. It's because they want people to just focus on everything blind instead of everything that's in front of them and this beautiful life that we have here now. So hell is your heels. Satan, what's his number one job? He wants you to be attached to physical things. So like sex, money, drugs, power, gluttony, right? So the reason why it's called hell is because on our body, our heels are what? Literally attached to the physical. So I said we're electromagnetic beings. We're made of electromagnetic frequency. So you're vibrating at a certain frequency. Right. I'm vibrating at a certain frequency. What is a frequency? A frequency is an oscillating motion and it's at different speeds for different people. Low vibrating frequency creates matter. So our flesh is low vibrating frequency because that's what creates physical things. Low vibrational frequency emits a color, and that color is red or orange or yellow. So it's yellow, orange, red. That's how you would look at it. That's why the devil is depicted as red.
Right.
And that's why he's in hell, because it's the lower half. It's all science. It's all about the metaphysics of the quantum, but religion won't teach you that because they want you to believe in a deity that's controlled by an institution.
I believe in God. I believe in a higher power. I just don't know what that looks like for me right now. But I do believe in a higher power. Do you feel like Christianity in a whole is a little bit cult-like?
Yeah. A lot of people are going to be very butthurt about
They are, because I say this all the time, and it's crazy because I swear up until honestly a few months ago I was like, I'm Christian. And then I was like, I debated, and now I'm like, you know what? I believe in God. That's it. Period.
I try and tell when I have I had the debate with the Christian, right?
Right. It's a crazy debate, by the way. You have to go watch it. I'll link it in the bio.
The biggest issue with my points is that since a religious person believes that God sent himself in human form for us to communicate with to then get to him, since people believe reality is that, the stuff that I say doesn't even calibrate within their mind because of the fact that I'm saying that, no, Jesus is us and we can connect to God the same way that Jesus did.
Right.
But Christians think that they've separated themselves from the Vatican and the Catholic Church, and they'll always talk bad about the Vatican and the Catholic Church. But if you're still believing that Jesus came down here to tell all of us that he is God and that we have to go through him to get to God, then you're not reading your scripture the right way.
I agree.
Because what does he say?
The scripture is so literal.
Yes.
And it's so metaphoric.
It's so metaphoric. The kingdom of God will not come with signs to be observed. No one will be saying, there it is, or behold, because the kingdom of God is within you. That's directly from the Bible. And what does Jesus say to his apostles? He says, I have given you the keys to the kingdom of heaven, but for those outside, this is all parable, so that they see but not understand, and listen but not hear.
Right.
So it's like, I'm giving y'all the sauce.
It's pure parables.
Pure parables. And then people will give me an example, they'll tell me, well, no, but this literally could actually happen in real life too. It's like, yes, these things are scenarios that could happen in real life, but these exact things didn't happen in real life.
Because it has a broader message. That's the thing.
You know, when I talk about the meditation, right? The whole point of the meditation is to stimulate the pineal gland. Mm-hmm. We have a pituitary and a pineal gland. The pineal gland sits around the right hemisphere of the brain. Now, our right hemisphere of the brain is where our introspective thought, our emotions, our creativity, our sympathy, our outside the box thinking comes from the right hemisphere of the brain. The left hemisphere is more reading, writing, arithmetic, obedience.
Of course.
So that's left brain.
That's why I always said the right side of my brain is more dominant.
Exactly. And lefties, the reason why a lot of lefties are artists is because left-handed people use the right side of their brain. Jesus says to Simon Peter, you're not going to catch any fish with your net on the left side. You got to throw it to the right side. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as he threw his net on the right side, he caught 153 fish, right? That number is all gematria. It's all numerology. Because when you add those numbers up, 1 + 5 + 3, that equals 9. 9, the number 9, has been represented for thousands of years before the Bible as divine intervention. What is that story about? Christ consciousness divinely intervening with someone like us. Mm-hmm. And through the stimulation of the right, that's when Jesus said, after he called the fish, he was like, drop everything and come with me. What does that mean? It's because when you meditate and you stimulate this right hemisphere of the brain, you are directly getting information from the source that created you. And what's going to happen is you're going to care less and less about physical desire.
I agree. The
more you connect with God, the less you connect with this. And so that's why Jesus says, drop everything and come with me. no, it's not a literal story that happened. It's all about the body.
Yeah. Christians they can be the biggest hypocrites because they'll say something is witchcraft. They'll say, don't idolize false gods. And they're the biggest ones to do it. Mm. They idolize the church. It's crazy when you look at especially Catholics. Everything. Candles, crosses, pews, just everything. Even down to the way that the priest is idolized.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it anymore.
It's funny how all these things that are beautiful, we're supposed to recognize our creations, not idolize our creations.
Thank you.
We're here to output for people to observe and appreciate. We're not here to output so that the person that is viewing it thinks that you're better than them. But that's what our reality is now. It's if you're a celebrity, your political opinion for some reason holds more weight than somebody with no money who knows more about the subject.
We're going to move on because we can do heart to hearts all day.
Yeah.
Let me pick your brain a little bit. What's your sign?
I'm a Cancer.
How do you feel like that affects your daily life?
I'm very emotional, right? Like I do have a very emotional side to me. I'm a water sign. So it's a lot of that creativity that I have. All creativity is divine feminine. Period.
I always preach that.
Yeah.
Great. Love to hear it.
The soul is, God is not a man. God is probably more a woman than any male figure.
Mother Nature.
Exactly.
I constantly preach you're preaching to the choir.
So,
because I'm always saying how the matriarchy should have won. This world would be so much better if it was run by a woman.
Yes. This is when it gets a little tricky because when I say the world is run by the divine feminine, it's because the world is run on emotion.
Right.
And the spirit is the one that has all the emotion, and then the physical body is just the thing that we use to operate all these emotions through. Of
course.
But I think roles have been manipulated for people to believe that one side has to like both sides have to equally do the same things. And I don't believe that that's what life is meant to be. I believe that through the divine feminine, the man could then create the divine masculine and bring it to actual physical into fruition. But since men only the majority of men don't like to dive into their divine feminine, all of the stuff that is created is negative.
Agreed. I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but I do feel like whether or not the matriarchy or the patriarchy won, men in a whole would still have this sense of toxic masculinity protruding through everything and every action. It's something about just objectifying women. It makes you not want to learn from them. So I've witnessed this in rooms and spaces that I've been in. For myself, I'm constantly having to prove that I'm intellectual, that I have something more of value than just being, because people literally told me, they're like, just be a model, just be quiet, be a model. This is why I haven't stepped into that industry. This is why I haven't leaned into it, and I exited because I was like, no, I have so much to teach you. If you let me lead a little bit, you would learn more.
I agree with that. I agree that in a toxic masculine world that we do live in, women with actual backbone and character, when they try and present themselves with respect, since there's so much, like a lot of men have like their guard up for everything, even when it's like not really warranted. When they run into situations where a woman is highly educated, because of their own insecurities, they'll fall back to what they're used to hearing as like, oh, well, whatever, it doesn't matter, because they also want that position. And God forbid their friends hear that, oh, this girl got the job over you or got this position over, how much that would affect the man and his pride.
Even now, in my relationship currently, I personally feel like, and I'm sure my man can attest to this, I've been the leader. I've been the leader so far because I am really goal-oriented right now in my life. I mean, I feel like I've always been that way, but now I'm more than ever, the older I get. And so where he is in life, I know that he just has so much potential to get somewhere else and get further ahead. And so I'm the one stepping up. I'm the one being like, let's go here. Let's do this. Let me put you onto this person. Let's network. Let's use those skills. I'm the one doing that. And a lot of people who we talk to and who we confide in, they're like, no, you shouldn't be leading. Like, he should be doing everything. He should be the one that's taking charge and going crazy. You know what I'm saying?
And that's where love gets ruined.
Exactly.
Because what is someone telling you? Oh, you need to lead. Like, why? So that if he leads, why? Because that fulfills some type of physical desire that we've been brainwashed to believe. It's like that you're once again focusing too much on the physical.
Exactly.
That mindset isn't for somebody that's focusing on the spiritual connection that you have with somebody. It's more focused on what can that person bring to me.
Honestly, we live in a prostitution era where a lot of women are just like, okay, if you're not bringing anything but monetary value here, you have no place. There's no place for you. And I'm at a space where it's like, I don't need that. I need a safe space.
Yes.
Right? I need connection. That's what I value in my relationship. Can you give us an insecurity that you were able to work through with breath work? My
biggest insecurity was like nobody understanding who I was, because I was always so different in McClancy. Like,
I think I have the same insecurity. Like, nobody getting me. I have a lot of friends that, see me for me, but really truly understanding me. I don't think anybody does.
And what I realized through that mindset of like not having anyone understand you, it's like, that's just, no one understands anybody. That's what I realized. Nobody really understands anybody. That's a good way to put it. You can pick up people's habits, but to fully understand somebody, it's impossible. Because I could be sitting here right now and I could hate you right now.
Right.
But I could just play it off as like, I don't hate you. I don't hate you. But it's like, that's exactly what it is. So like, for me, when I realized that everybody really doesn't really understand anyone, I just decided to really just get comfortable with being who I am. Not to the point where like it becomes something cocky, like,
but just like unapologetically
yourself.
Yeah,
exactly. So, and through the meditation, I learned that a lot, because all you could do is just think.
I really need to get into meditation. I do. So let's move on to the soul. As Gen Z, do you feel like we're in a period of excessive isolation? We don't have community. You know how when your parents were growing up in the 90s or, 80s, whatever, there was a sense of community. There was a sense of, if this person is going through something, we're going to rally around them. Yeah. We're going to be your rock, especially with neighbors, they just had a huge community all the time.
Yes.
And I think now, because of fucking cell phones, there is no community. Because in your head, it's like, well, I have Instagram, so that's what they rely on, the social media aspect of it. And so I feel like we're losing a lot of our social skills. I feel like this is why so much a rise in depression has happened, because no one has community anymore. Yeah. How do you feel about
what
that?
The world powers want is for us to not have patience. That's why I teach the meditation. I'm going to reiterate this again. That's why I teach the breath work, because it forces you, like if you set a timer for 5 minutes for the first time and you close your eyes, what is the first thing that's going to pop into your head? Did I press start on the timer? I think I should check. Or wait, what time is it? Wait, do I have something? I think my mom's going to call me. I should just stop now, right? You're going to fill your head with all these things.
Yeah.
To get yourself to just stop, because our bodies are not prepared for a halt.
Right.
We always have to be observing something. Our attention spans are so little now. So when it comes to wanting to link up with a bunch of people, nobody wants to be the leader of that anymore, because it takes effort. It takes ego death to want to message you and be like, hey, I want to put something together for everybody.
People don't want to reach out anymore.
Because it's like, wait, they don't hit me up, so why would I hit them up? Everyone's going to die. If everybody thinks that way, we're all just going to die.
We're all going to die at the end of the day. It's fine.
It's all distraction.
Yeah.
The phone is, every time you swipe, and this is like the scientific principle of it, you are releasing dopamine every single time you swipe down and look at a new post. It will make you tired. Your receptors are going to be fried. Your eyes are fried.
Right.
Everything is just super, super quick now. If you want to back then, you know what was so great about community back then? It's because it wasn't, this show was just blasted onto Netflix and now everybody could watch it whenever they want at the same time. It was, yo, we have to all be here in front of the TV at 6:30. Only one who has a TV, and this show won't play again for another week and a half if we don't sit down and watch it together now.
Exactly.
So that forced people to get together.
Exactly.
And even the cell phones as a whole, like even when people do decide to link up, they can't enjoy the moment. They have to know how many likes they have. They have to know who's following them at all points.
It's actually insane. I recently watched a video where you were speaking on seeing the Super Bowl at a bar. And your experience there. Talk a little bit about it.
Like I said about the late stage capitalism, when they take more rights away from us, they'll use culture to kind of blind us. And the fact that the same people that are putting on like the halftime show, the same artists that are representing culture, are the same people that work for an institution or an industry that is sex trafficking children, doing demonic rituals as released in the Epstein files. But that's already been known. People are deciding to not believe it now because someone had to show them that it's real rather than them just having the ego death and just accepting it.
Right.
A news station had to come out and confirm it for a lot of people. But what happened at this bar when I went, because I knew this was going to happen, I went to go out to do research. I didn't go out to watch no Super Bowl or watch a specific artist perform. I just wanted to see how the people were going to react. And the bar was literally split. The back of the bar was the Bad Bunny halftime show, and the front was the Turning Point USA one. And the one thing that I noticed is...
Where was this? In Queens?
Yeah, it was a bar in Queens in my neighborhood.
Okay.
And all I was thinking, like watching the bar split in half, all I'm thinking is the CIA is doing victory laps right now, because we have people on one side. I'll start with the Turning Point USA people, right? We have people on one side that are choosing to go to a different channel to watch a fake halftime show because of an artist on another, because of an artist who quote unquote hates America is performing at America's biggest pastime, which is football, right? But those same people are watching an institution who literally killed their founder. Charlie Kirk was killed by Turning Point USA affiliates and other countries that if I say the name of the country that you're probably going to get demonetized. So I'm not going to do that. And all the people that were on the lineup for Turning Point USA, like Kid Rock was the opener, and he is a sex offender. Like he has very serious allegations against him with young women.
Right.
And then when we look on the other side, people are literally bending the knee for all this culture appropriation and all this culture representation. But the people who run the halftime show, like Jay-Z was just exposed for being in the Epstein files. Jay-Z is a known Freemason, and if you understand Freemasonry, you understand that when you get to the highest levels of that fraternity, you are worshiping Satan, which means you are participating in child sacrifice. You are doing these human trafficking rituals all over the world. That Jay-Z runs the halftime show, and sports are scripted. So people, and Bad Bunny also works for an entertainment group that is funneling money to the Venezuelan government. And that's one of the biggest reasons why all these drugs are being pushed throughout Central America. So Remus Entertainment Group is the record label that Bad Bunny's under. I forgot his first name, but something Jimenez Ramos, I think his name is. He gave Bad Bunny $2 million to start as an investment for Remus Entertainment Group. That guy worked right next to Hugo Chavez as a defense coordinator and event planner. Hugo Chavez is the dictator of Venezuela who allowed all of the drugs to import throughout the whole Central America, United States, Canada, the UK, and they were working with people that were part of U.S. intelligence agencies too, behind closed doors. So think about it. People are fighting each other because they're trying to support people that are doing the things that they're mad about to them. So people care about Bad Bunny representing Puerto Rico.
Right.
He literally is funded by people who are trafficking humans and pushing drugs all over the country. The same reasons why these places are so down bad is because we keep idolizing the people who are doing it to us.
People just want pleasure.
Yeah.
They thrive on pleasure, right? This is why we have addiction. This is why we have so many things. But I think a part of the addiction is just wanting to be seen. Mm-hmm. And it's like you think you're being seen.
Yeah.
It's just puppet. It's just a puppet. Like, that's how I view it.
All these Puerto Ricans, right? I'm half Puerto Rican. All these Puerto Ricans that are so happy that Bad Bunny represented Puerto Rico. I'm like, let's 40 to 70% of Puerto Rico are Roman Catholics. The person that you are idolizing or acknowledging for representing your nation is a known Satanist, not because he outwardly says it.
Most of these celebrities are.
They're all Satanists. And like I said, they've had to get to fame. Fame is an imitation of God. Fame is not good. You're not supposed to have fame. You're supposed to have respect.
What's the difference?
The difference between fame and respect is when somebody does something that's good and you respect it, that means you acknowledge that they're doing a good thing, but that doesn't blind you from what person they are behind closed doors. You're able to accept the thing for what it is, for what you know. But when they're openly telling you that they're bad people through the symbolism, through the negative music that they make, just because they're talented doesn't mean that you then pick whatever political side that they're on or fall a victim to they're actors. This is a performance. It's entertainment.
Everything is extremely performative.
Yes.
The government knows this. This is why they call Cardi B. This is why they call all of these celebrities who you haven't even, I'm sorry, but you didn't even graduate high school. How are you commenting on anything politically?
Exactly.
I don't get it.
You're talking about, for instance, this girl, Sabrina Carpenter.
Right.
She is always for feminism this and women empowerment, but then she'll drop an album where she's presenting herself as a dog. The album name is called Man's Best Friend, and it's an older gentleman holding her hair while she's on her knees. And all of her music videos about her hooking up with men that are over 60 years old. Because
you know what? They'll take something degrading and call it women's empowerment, which I hate. This is why I don't promote my platform as I'm a women's empowerment podcast. No, my podcast is really about me shedding the light on, I say girl, because for me, girl is gender fluid. I call everybody girl. And so it's for people that are healing, but you're also aware of all of the complexities that makes this life.
Yes.
Right. So I think that's empowering, but I'm not going to sit here and call my platform women's empowerment because no, I'm going to call you on your bullshit. And she does a lot of bullshit.
Exactly.
I hate everything. At one point I think I got to a point where I was just so aware of everything being degrading. I'm like, oh, you want me to do what?
Yeah.
I'm good.
I gave the example to somebody. I was like, okay, so if Lucifer himself came out of the ground and shouted out Puerto Rico, why you wouldn't care, right? Why?
Right.
Because you know what that person is all about.
They don't view it.
They don't have real intention.
Because I see in their head, the image is always, oh, well, he was this boy and we lived in Puerto Rico. We had nothing and he just came fucking into riches.
Yeah, look at this.
Nowhere.
They don't get it.
You can do it. I can do it. That's always a story in someone else's head. So this is why they're like, you could never make me hate Bad Bunny.
Do you know what celebrities mean by saying you could do whatever you want? What they mean is you could do whatever you want. So when these people at the top put that contract in your face and tell you that if you sign this, you'll have whatever you want physically, but you're a slave to the industry, you could do whatever you want. You can make that decision to say yes or no. That's where people get messed up because the everyday person thinks that when the celebrity says that, they're saying, oh, if I work really, really hard and I'm an honest person, that I'm going to be famous and no, that's not what they're telling you. It's all symbolism.
That's what's been pushed.
Yes.
That's what media has pushed for ages.
None of these people came from nothing and made a name for themselves organically. Their families either work in the music industry or for military defense corporations or for central intelligence agencies. These people come from families that do crazy things.
Our closing segment is called Impact Her. We just talk about a woman that's inspired you, whether that's, someone that you know or someone that mentored you through a different grapevine. Tell us the person, a woman.
My mom, my mom. No doubt. My mom and my sister.
I love that.
Yeah, my mom.
Your sister's younger than you, right?
Yes, but she's a genius. She's headstrong. She's confident. Of course, none of us are perfect, but she has had to deal with a lot of stuff in her life, and she's seen a lot of things through my older brothers, through myself. So has a good head on her shoulders, and she's very aware of what she has to do, her responsibilities. She's going to be a PA soon. She's in med school. So she graduated college early, to go straight into medical school, and she's doing the FAST program for that as well. So sooner or later, she's going to be like a high 6-figure lady, and she deserves it. You know, she works really, really hard.
I'd love to have her on next and hear her experience.
Oh yeah, you would love my sister. No, you would. I think that'd be really cool for you to have her on. She's very God-fearing as well.
Love that.
So I get a lot of inspiration and motivation from my sister, and I think we both share like a tremendous amount of appreciation, you know, for our mom, because my mom has had to deal with a lot in her life, and then even when she met my dad, she had to deal with things, and then having us, you know, raising us alone, she had to deal with a lot. You know, she had a store that she was doing really good, and she had a toy store / hair salon, and because of COVID, she wasn't getting any funding from any institutions or organizations, so she had to close down.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and that kind of goes into like a topic that we already spoke about, which I'll explain to you like afterwards. But I just see her fight every day, and she always has a smile on her face. She's super caring, always down to listen to people and to talk and to motivate and bring people closer to God.
Yeah.
She helped me put the sandwiches together for when I gave away the food and the water yesterday.
Beautiful.
So she helped out with that as well.
You guys give a lot back to the community as much as you can. And I love that. Especially spiritually as well. So
thank you. Yeah. So my mom's my rock. She's the reason for why a lot of this is even happening to begin with, in terms of how I present myself and what I'm choosing to do.
Of course.
Yeah.
Where can the girls find you?
You guys can find me. You girlies can find me.
Girlies. I know they're going to be in the DM after this, so.
All right. I know. It's because of the jacket. I know.
The girls love it. They love wisdom. They're like, yeah, it's a smart man. Continue. You
can find me on Instagram at 47slouch. You could also find me on all streaming platforms as Slouch. On YouTube, I'm 47slouch music. No, I'm sorry, 47slouch space YouTube. And TikTok, I am 47slouch as well. So.
Beautiful. Don't forget to subscribe to Soft Girls Hard Life podcast. We shoot here every Thursday. We are here on the pink couch doing things, talking about complexities, bullshit, whatever you want to talk about. Join us next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Sabrina Larice. Thank you, Slouch.
No problem. Thank you.
Pleasure.